How excited are you? Have you got your squad all ready to go? Do you know what you're going to do?
Yeah, I suppose there's maybe a couple that we're still deciding on. We'll probably take 33 here, and there's a couple we're still deciding on. Had a couple of injuries as well, so looking at some options there. Just trying to see who'll be back, who won't. Of course, we've got to deal with, also possible suspension with Rory, who might miss the first game as well. So just a few little things to iron out. We'll meet on Monday and go through that in detail and then produce that for Wednesday.
You have Ireland first before you take on New Zealand, but how big a boost was it to see the Waratahs win on the weekend and end that New Zealand hoodoo?
Yeah, I think for me watching, probably more important that they backed up a strong performance in Christchurch with another strong performance in Sydney, and I think it will be very important for them to go for another strong performance in Hamilton. And that's what it's about. Repeated strong performances, and then if you look at the Reds, exactly the same. They had a strong performance against the Hurricanes, and now they need to have that same performance, that same intensity this weekend as well against the Highlanders. So that's the theme we're looking for, that consistency in effort, and yeah, I've been pleased with those couple of weeks of play.
Mentally though, like for rugby in Australia, how important was it to get that breakthrough in? Just, it can be such a mental game at times.
But I'm always looking at the more than one, you know what I mean? I don't think, okay, it was nice to have a win, all that good. And I don't, I think it's more about, we want to do that more often, like get that going more often. And it's good that people are happy about it. I'm certainly not going to knock that back, you know what I mean? But if that's the result, then we've got to have people happy more often. And that's the logical way to think about it.
Will you be confiscating Izzy's phone during camp?
Hey, tell me about you, Juno. It's a nice soft one before you get into the tough ones. I know how you soften me up, you know what I mean? Look, obviously there's been a lot said about it, and I don't believe it's going to be an ongoing issue because I don't believe it's going to be ongoing.
Are you worried that it's giving the sport a bad name?
I just said I wasn't worried because I don't think it's going to be ongoing. So, that's where it's at, and that's where we'll leave it and go on with the footy.
So you think Israel's not going to post anything else on his Instagram or Twitter?
Well, he's definitely going to post stuff. Isn't that what that's for? You know what I mean? But the right stuff, the stuff he believes in.
So you don't think he needs to come out and, qualify his opinions? Because I don't think this type of stuff would be accepted for, race-type situations, Are you happy that, he has those views and he's expressing them?
What do you mean, race-type situations?
Well, I think this is sort of carried on and there's sort of people are tiptoeing around it, but if you'd said the same thing about, say...
Mate, no one's tiptoeing around anything. I just said, if you listened and didn't want to ask the question over again, that it's not going to be an issue because it's not going to be ongoing. And you can interpret it how you like.
Does that mean that you've spoken with Israel?
Yeah, of course we've spoken. Of course we've spoken, yeah. We speak about that, we speak about footy, speak about everything, you know what I mean? So of course we've spoken about it. Maybe not everything I'm saying is for other people's satisfaction. It's for me as the coach to get clarity on what's going to be happening inside the team environment.
Do you think he understands that it's a potential distraction?
I think he does understand that, yeah. But he doesn't, and I think what's more important, mate, is he doesn't want to create that. He wants to play the footy that he's been playing the last few weeks, which has been awesome. I know we take that time to look at it here, but we've also got to look at the footy he's been playing as well, which has been pretty good since he's been back from injury.
How do you approach Ireland, Six Nations champions, obviously?
Yeah, mate, it's going to be tough, you know what I mean? But we're looking forward to putting ourselves up against what is a real sort of, I suppose, contrary style of play than ours. They're very structured around the way they deliver the game. A lot of kicking, right? A lot of pressure in kick chasing and defence. And we play probably sort of slightly different style, a lot less kicking, etc. But I think one of the big things we can do to improve straight away is just reduce our penalties. So I think we'd be one of the highest teams from penalties in world rugby. It's top 10 tier, and then they'd be the lowest. I think they give away the lowest amount of penalties. So just that in itself changes the dynamic, and that comes to the way you approach the game, from a mindset around effort and also about what you want to do from a penalties point of view, and making sure that you are as, I don't like to say the word discipline, but you're reducing the amount of penalties as possible.
Such a tough series coming up. Is the limited amount of preparation worry you?
No, mate. We know that that's the case. That's the case for it's the case for New Zealand. They're playing the same. I think South Africa have got a week to build up. And it's just the way that it's always been. Sometimes you get an extra week, but we've known that this is the plan. We've had the opportunities to get the guys together once, just for a couple of days, the core group of players. And I think we'll be ready. We'll be ready. Yeah, we might be it may not be as fluid as we'd like to see it, which that'll take playing some games to get a game, but I think we'll be ready.
Does that
yeah.
make you look towards a more experienced squad and not sort of last minute player?
No, I don't think so. I think it was interesting because we brought about 20 players that we considered were core of the squad into a couple of days up in Queensland a couple of weeks ago. And of those 20, I think 10 had debuted since the World Cup, so either 16 or 17. So by the nature of the way we've improved the squad, with younger players and built the depth around, I think we've had over 20 debutants since the World Cup. We've made a change, and there's a youthful sort of part of the squad as it is, So anyone that comes in now is just going to be based on their form, right, and being able to feel like they can contribute to the team in the series.
How difficult was it to leave Tarp out?
Oh, no, I think it was always going to be the case, you know what I mean? I think it was going to be pretty logical that that he can't play 12 months of the year, He's not getting any younger himself, but he's still got so much to offer, and I think it was only logical that he should get a break at the end of his season, and then also I think gives us the chance to play with the guys who are coming in who have been playing. There's 4 young hookers around the scenes at the moment that we're looking at, or probably even possibly even a 5th around, but they'll get a chance to get in there and get some minutes in the jersey, so that we've got the depth required as we go over this next 18 months.
Are you expecting Jordan to be ready for June?
He's playing this weekend, as far as I know, so that's the plan of attack. So without stealing anyone's thunder, so I imagine he'll be on the paddock at some stage, whether it's off the bench or in the starting.
Ireland from the time coaching at Leinster. What do you think's changed over the last few years to take them right up to the top echelons in Irish rugby, from your observations?
I think they've, they're obviously very well coached. They've got a very clear and coherent plan that they want to deliver, and they deliver that same plan every week. You know what I mean? And the guys, a lot of players obviously coming from Leinster, as well as the core of that, the team that Joe Schmidt trained beforehand. So there's a strong core that's moving around, doing the same thing all the time. Having those long blocks together, and I suppose being very clear on the way they play, and I just think that also they've had a very good youth system. I feel like they've got a lot of young players that are coming through their system that have been sort of really clear on what's demanded of them when they come into the international environments, and so they've been able to deliver that with a lot of consistency, and that's elevated them to number 2 in the world. And it's a place that we'll be looking to cut them down from when they come over here.
And in terms of your approach and your team's approach to their very structured kind of game, as you alluded to earlier, what does Australia need to do? Where can
we need to play our footy, mate. We need to play our football, which is an attacking style. We like to play, lots of phases. We like to play with a little bit of width as well. You know what I mean? Like I said, we're probably less a kicking team, so that takes also a certain type of mental consistency, because you're not going to get rewarded from every foray in attack. You're not going to get rewarded. Sometimes we want to get something from every attack, but you're not going to. When you do a lot of attack like we do, you don't often get. You won't always get rewards, so you just got to stay at it. And then, of course, you've got to be very strong defensively. But the number one thing will be our work ethic. All the other stuff's inconsequential. Our work ethic principles are the things that we need to build the strongest between now and the World Cup to go to where we want to go, and the consistency in delivering that. And that's something we've spoken to players about, and that's something we want our supporters to see when we're playing like that. This is the number one thing for us, is how hard we want to work in the game so we can show off the play that we can deliver.
Just net out, has anyone else kind of stood out to you at 6 in the
There's a few guys around, yeah. You know, like I know Caleb Timu's been out, but I think probably more at 8 as opposed to 6. But you know, there's a few guys around that have been playing. Obviously, Lucan too, he's coming back this week, and he's played a bit for us there as well. I don't want to give away too many secrets of what we're looking at, etc. But there are a few players around who I think can fit the profiles. Obviously, with the 2 7s, we're quite comfortable there. It's about maybe finding someone who can step up with some of the principles that we were just talking about there, the attack, the work ethic, etc., into that 6 role. And I think there are a couple of guys I mentioned, you know, they've got those skills, and there's probably a couple of others around that we can look at as well when that time comes.
Do you know how Will Getting is tracking? Have you had any word on him?
Yes, he's on track to be available for the tour for the first test. Whether he can get himself back for a game beforehand with the Rebels, that's what we're pushing for. So we'll just see if he can get himself a game back. But if he can't, then I don't think there won't be any doubt about him being ready for the first test. Yeah.
You mentioned the World Cup before. Is this really where it starts, building towards this series?
No, I think for us, we've done a bit of the reverse. We've done a lot of our World Cup building in the first 2 years of the cycle. You know, broadening the base of player, getting more players, more depth in different positions, changing a bit of the age profile. And now I think what's important for us over the next 2 years will be getting the day-to-day right, just competing, getting the habits that we need to then go into that, you know, tournament and be at our best. I think also concentrating on how our leadership team develops as well. I think that's been an area that has been a bit of a gap in Australian rugby for many years, and we're trying to seed that project now, you know, from Stephen through to Michael Hooper, with David, and with some other guys around who are coming up like Samu Karevi, and guys who understand the Wallaby culture and have been a part of developing that over the last few years, and want to start leaving that legacy behind for others who are coming into the squad now. Sorry, yeah.
That's right, thank you so much.
You're right.
Stick with the history at all, because Ireland haven't won down here since 1979.
Well, we can manipulate history however we want. You know, I've had 2 matches against Ireland, which are important ones for me because of my connection with them, and I've lost them both narrowly and Lansdowne Road. So, but the only thing about history is the opportunity to write it, you know, and this is a really good opportunity for us. I don't know where it can take us in the rankings. I think if we can do this by putting ourselves in a situation to win these matches. But like I said, the only way that'll be done is through a really strong work ethic from the team, and also, you know, believing in ourselves, a little bit of swagger as well, and also have fun, you know, enjoy it back at, you know, 3 tests at home, Brisbane, Melbourne, Sydney. From what I hear, they're going to be close to sellouts, a lot of the venues, so it's going to be, you know, I know Sydney and definitely the other ones are selling well, so it's going to be great crowds, and that's what we want to play international footy in front of, you know, so everyone enjoys it. It's more about when we get to the selection table